Okay, and welcome back. Hour number 2 and hour number 3. We have a 2-hour special coming your way now, and this is going to be history-making in many ways. As we did with the murder of John F. Kennedy, David John Oates got onto this issue in terms of looking at it, analyzing it with reverse speech. He did a magnificent job, and we brought Jim Marrs on, who is the world's foremost authority on the assassination of JFK. And David was on, and we went through the reversals, and they matched Jim's research to a T. It was eerie. You can hear that program. Go to the right-hand side of Rense.com. Look down there. You'll find it. JFK, David John Oates, reverse speech, and Jim Marrs. We're going to do the same sort of thing tonight with the murder of Robert F. Kennedy. The assassination of Robert Kennedy remains one of the worst horrors of the last century, and it is not really understood by many Americans for some reason. We basically get it, but the idea that Sirhan Sirhan was mind-controlled, yeah, okay, people say, yeah, all right, well, prove it, prove it. All right, well, we can prove it, and we're going to prove it tonight with reverse speech. The assassination of RFK, a U.S. senator at the time and brother of JFK, took place just after midnight, June the 5th, 1968, in Los Angeles at the Ambassador Hotel in the kitchen. And with that, let's welcome back to the program David Oates. David, how long have you been working on the RFK murder?
Well, actually, my class has been working on it, my practitioner class. I set it as a group assignment, probably about 6 months ago now, okay? And so all the students in the practitioner class, which is my second year training, went and did a tape, and they all contributed their findings together. And we appointed one of the students in charge, and she's joining us on the show as well. That's Jeannette Teagle. She's a wonderful reverse speech practitioner. One of the few students who I've ever given a perfect grade on her assignment.
Oh my!
Yeah, perfect. Everything's right. Rehearsal's 100% accurate. Interpretation's 100% accurate. She's a very capable woman. So we decided to give her the job of heading up the RFK project. Now, I personally did reversals on Sirhan Sirhan in a 1-hour interview he did with David Frost.
Uh-huh.
And so that was my contribution to the project, but other students also contributed their own tapes. And so what Jeanette did was got all the findings together, and it must have taken a long time to pull all those tapes together.
Mm-hmm.
And she wrote a comprehensive 3-page report on what has happened. And the reversals are amazingly clear. The ones she's chosen, very similar to the JFK assassination reversals. And they all point to the same thing. And so we actually had 4 independent students all doing this. And they all came up with the same conclusion independently. Okay? And I think
that's quadruple blind, so to speak.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. There was 4 of them. Oh, actually 5 counting them. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 counting me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. Jeannette Teagle, are you there?
I am, Jeff. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I can tell by your accent that you're also in Australia.
I am in Australia. I'm actually Kiwi, New Zealand born.
Very good.
Living in Australia.
Very good. Very good. Well, for you to get a perfect mark from David Oates is remarkable, and I commend you on that. That's really, you do have a gift for it. You must have loved it from the first.
I have. It took me 2 years to get into reverse speech, and I haven't looked back since then.
Uh-huh. Yeah, understood. It is so mesmerizing, this whole thing. What we've learned about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and so many other key players in the American election cycle, which is not over yet. We are facing some really dangerous times here in the next month. It's not over yet. So we will see. And the man, Jim Marrs, is back with us tonight. Jim, the world's foremost authority on the murder of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Jim has been at that 54 years researching and studying it, and he wouldn't miss tonight. This is going to be very interesting. Welcome, James. Tell us about the Bobby Kennedy murder. Here it is, 1968. Give or take 5 years later, America again is still hurting, but they're feeling a chance to recover the dream. Something special.
Well, Robert Kennedy had already been in California a few days, and speaking to some students out there, one of them asked him, says, if you get to be president, what about, would you look into what happened to your brother? And it's interesting because Kennedy replied, he said, I can't do anything about the death of my brother until I have the powers of the presidency, which means that he understood what you and I understand, which is you'd have to have power over the Secret Service and the FBI and the CIA and the Pentagon before you could do anything about the murder of John F. Kennedy, which means he truly understood how things stood. And just a few days later, in the Ambassador Hotel that night, after just winning the California nomination for Democratic candidate for president, which pretty well cinched him for the national nomination, which put him on the road to the White House, he's shot after being mysteriously misled into the pantry, which was not the original route he was to take to leave, and then other odd things happening, such as Sirhan Sirhan, who had a 6-shot revolver, and they found more than 12 bullet holes
in the walls
and
ceiling.
And the fact that Sirhan never got to within about 6 feet in front of Kennedy, with his little pistol, and that immediately, maybe after the first shot was fired, he was jumped on by those big football players, Roosevelt Greer and others, and so he never could have gotten off another decent shot. And then Thomas Noguchi, the very prominent, world-renowned medical examiner of Los Angeles, testified under oath in court that the shot that killed Robert Kennedy entered his right mastoid, that's the bone behind your right ear, at a range of no greater than 3 inches. So see, it's never made any sense, except once you back off and realize the same forces that killed John F. Kennedy had to silence Robert Kennedy before he got on the trail to the White House.
It's interesting how both men were given changed directions right before they were murdered.
Right.
I mean, that car wasn't supposed to go down that street in Dealey Plaza.
Well, that's not precisely true, because the normal flow of traffic, if you wanted to go to Stemmons Expressway, was to go down Main, turn left on Houston, turn right onto Elm, through the underpass, and then up onto Stemmons.
They made a change in the.
Well, no, what they did was, number one, they could have, since they had the whole plaza blocked off from traffic, they could have simply let the motorcade go straight down Main, and they could. There was a low curb there. I've even gone over it myself when I said, "Wait a minute, I didn't want to go here. I want to go somewhere else." You can bump over that curb and then go up onto Stemmons. No, here's what happened, though. Then when the Secret Service ran the motorcade route a few days before, they came down Main, and when they got to Dealey Plaza, they were told, from here he goes to the Trade Center, and they turned left and went down by the Dallas Morning News and went away. They never drove that 120-degree turn onto Elm Street, which was a violation of Secret Service regulations, which stated you never make more than a 90-degree turn, and if you have to make a 90-degree turn, you station agents there. Neither of those conditions were met.
Wow. All right. Okay. Now, our program that David, you and I did on JFK is truly it's a hallmark, a landmark program. We answered so many questions.
Everybody didn't get to see that.
Yeah, well, it's up on the...
it's there for anybody who wants to go look for it, but I guess they're too busy with football and The Voice and
important
God
things.
Knows what else.
Important things.
Yeah, all those important things.
Yeah. David Oates, let's go ahead and set this up, and let's start our journey tonight.
Okay, all right. Well, what we're going to do, what Jeannette has done, she's written a report here, so we're going to go over the points in her report, and then she can make comments as we go because she's more familiar with this than I am. So the first thing we're going to look at is, were there hypnotic suggestions implanted with Sirhan Sirhan? Now, where are these first batch from, Jeannette? The one that starts, they seal with your phoning. Where's this first batch from?
Which recording's it from?
Well, yeah, we start with the post-hypnotic suggestions. So, these are from all over the place, aren't they?
So the reversals we have showing in the report actually have come from all the individual recordings that were submitted.
Right. Okay, so these are pulled out to show points. Okay.
That's correct.
All right, so
where did David, excuse me, where did the recordings that we're going to be hearing come from? Were they gathered up from a lot of different sources? What kinds of things are we going to hear?
Oh, right. Well, they came from YouTube mainly, or from YouTube. And yes, and like I did an hour interview with Sirhan Sirhan and with David Frost, and others are from other YouTube clips.
Got it. Well, the internet continues to serve us one way or the other, doesn't it?
Okay, so let's look at the post-hypnotic suggestions. Here's the first clip played forwards.
The newspaper stands were screaming out the headline, for the racing result, for the racing entries for the following day.
This reversal says they seal with your phoning.
You seal with your phoning. You seal with your phoning.
You hear that?
You seal with your phoning.
Okay, now tell us who we're hearing. We're hearing Sirhan, but who's asking the questions?
This is Sirhan Sirhan, and David Frost is asking the questions.
All right.
Okay? So he's going through the scene. Here, let's run the forwards again.
The newspaper stands were screaming out the headline, for the racing result, for the racing entries for the following day.
This is when he's walking up to the Ambassador Hotel. Right. I remember this clip. Okay. So this is prior to the shooting, this clip. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So the first clue is they seal with your phoning. What does that mean? What's he doing on the phone? What is being sealed? Who are they? Okay, so we have our first little clue. A phone call was made and something happened on that phone call. Okay? So let's look at the next reversal. Here's the forwards.
And I wish the hell that he could have made it. When I saw him in real life, it was a thrill to me, sir.
This is Sirhan Sirhan again. And here he says, I am forced to do it.
Forced to do it. Forced to do it.
You hear that one?
It's a little muddy, but it's all there. Yeah, I can hear all the hard consonants are there. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So here we have, seal with your phoning.
So he says, I am forced to do it. Play that again, David, please.
Okay. Here we go.
Forced to do it. Forced to do it. Forced to do it.
You got that?
It's very quick, but it's all there. Yeah.
It's there. And let's play the first one again. They seal with your phoning.
You seal with your phoning. You seal with your phoning.
That one's nice and clear.
You seal with your phoning.
Yeah.
Okay. So then he says this. Here's the forwards.
Other than the choking and the commotion, I don't remember that.
On May 18th last year, you were sitting and writing in your room.
They're the writings of a maniac.
This is with his interview with David Frost. And he says, I'm a murderer. They show my gun. Okay, so his gun is paraded for all to see. He believes that he did the actual shooting.
In that reversal, David, the last word over here, now I'm half a world away, I'm hearing hand, not gun. They show my hand.
Oh, okay, here we go. Ooh. That's a close call. I can hear a G. You're hearing H for hand?
Yeah, I'm hearing an H over here, but whatever. Okay. That's good.
All right.
Very good.
Right. So let's look.
Show my hand, show my gun. It kind of amounts to the same thing.
I think.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep. Okay. So here's the next one.
And I heard that there was a big party at the ambassador.
Okay. Now this is before he's going in, and then he says the sad murder.
The sad murder.
The sad murder. The sad murder.
So
Wow.
why is it sad?
Crystal clear.
Why is it sad?
Yeah.
And then we have this one.
You said that RFK must die by.
I agree with
June
that.
the 5th. And he did.
And he did.
And this one says they did it.
They did.
They did.
Okay. So here we have they see where you're phoning. I'm forced to do it.
Yeah.
They show my gun, show my hand, the sad murder. They did it. And then after he's arrested, we have this reversal here. This is once he's this therapy room reversal, Jeanette. This is after he was arrested, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Right. Okay. So here we go.
Just the old Sirhan, and resolve to live a new Sirhan, a new rebirth, and then start out life with a new slate.
Oh, okay. No, he's just giving his story. This is what he wants. And it says backwards, in therapy room.
In the therapy room.
In the therapy room.
Huh.
In the therapy room.
So what happened in the therapy room?
What does he have a
phone?
Yeah, they seal it. Yes. When and where was this therapy room, vis-a-vis the actual shooting? When did it occur? Do you have any, what's your timeline on it?
Well, this is what Jeanette's got in the report here. He was taken to the police headquarters where he is hypnotized. In bracket in therapy room. And it's how do you feel? Remember it. There's actually 3 whole reversals here. And Jeanette suggests and direct suggestions were implanted, even though the police concern you would not hold it up in court. So he's given a suggestion to make him believe that he is the murderer.
False memory implantation. Okay.
False. That's what we're dealing with. False memory implantation. And then we've got reversals about, hang on, where's the fall? I'm the fall guy. Where's that one, Jeanette?
You took the fall. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's the one I'm looking for, yeah. Okay. Let's go to this one here. Took the fall. Where are we? Do you know what number that? Oh, here we go. Got it. So here's this one.
The idea that it was done with the full requirements of the law for a first-degree murder, I don't think that it was.
Okay, so he's saying, I don't think my sentence was fair. It didn't fit the full requirements. Backwards, he says, you took the fall.
You took the fall.
You took the fall. You took the fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's talking about himself in the third person.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Or it could be his unconscious mind talking to his conscious.
That's even more likely. That's even more likely.
Yes.
So let's go hear that again with the idea that his subconscious mind is talking to his conscious self. You took the fall, buddy.
Yeah. And listen, Jeanette, feel free to chip in. I don't want to hog the air and take your thunder away.
Well, what we're going to do is stop here and then get her opinions on these things. And, you're both on the same Skype line, so it's important that we try not to talk over each other because Skype does weird things when that happens. So everything's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. But let's let Jeanette go back over. Read some of those reversals, Jeanette, and when you started to do this, tell us how you felt vis-a-vis what you were finding.
Right. So, Jeff, as we were going through and I was reading everybody's transcripts and listening to the reversals, it became very clear to me that there were post-hypnotic suggestions implanted. And I believe that they were either waking hypnosis, conversational hypnosis, and the use of a telephone was involved. And so that's where we get the seal with your phoning and I'm forced to do it. Those were the first clues we had that he was not doing this off his own bat. Then in the recording, The Second Gun, that's where we see him being taken into the police station.
Uh-huh.
And on that recording, you can actually hear his breathing is very laboured as they're saying, how do you feel? Remember it. You know, reinforcing what had been implanted.
Oh, very interesting
prior to
observation.
the shooting.
Yeah. Where do you think?
Here we have those.
Hold on, David. One question here. Where do you think the first implants were given to him just before the shooting? You mentioned telephone. Where do you think that happened, and when? How long before the shooting itself? He was the patsy. Remember, everyone. He was the Lee Harvey Oswald of the Robert Kennedy murder. He didn't do it.
All right. I think part of it he was seen in the weeks leading up to the assassination. He was seen with a couple of people who were also present at the assassination. There was a man, and then there was a woman.
Handlers. Mm-hmm.
And he had been seen with them in the weeks prior to the assassination. So
this is a process. They were queuing him up as they rolled up to the actual event. That's very
correct.
interesting. Very interesting. David?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. There's a reversal about the girl, I think.
There is.
Yeah, we'll get.
Let me go over to Jim Mars here. Before I do that, though, David, would you read the reversals again like you just did? Because they all perfectly. It's almost like a narrative the way they go.
Yeah.
Just read the reversals to us from the beginning again. What you've got.
Right. They seal with your phoning. Reversal number 1. I am forced to do it. Reversal number 2. I'm a murderer. They show my gun or show my hand. Means the same thing. The sad murder. They did it. And there's a whole lot I've skipped over. We'll get to them as we continue through the interview.
Got it. Jim, go ahead.
In the therapy room, and I took the fall.
Wow.
You took the fall, sorry.
Wow. That's a very damning string of reversals, Jim Mars.
Absolutely. And what it does is just totally support my conclusions after studying this thing for so long, because there was a jail psychologist who hypnotized Sirhan Sirhan over a period of time, and there were some brief mentions in the mainstream media that he came out and said that he encountered hypnotic blocks, and that basically said that Sirhan Sirhan was a mind-controlled person. After that, he was relieved of duties and sent somewhere else, and we didn't hear any more about that. And then, of course, and I'm sorry, but the name, I've got a block on the name, but, you know, you and I, Jeff, were together with the fella who was with the girl in the polka dot dress, and his name was?
Yeah, I'll find it here somewhere.
You don't remember it either.
Caesar or something, right?
Yes, had a book out.
Caesar Romero?
Really
no,
nice
not
book
that
out.
one. No, this is a very interesting guy who, through complete serendipity and circumstance, got pulled into this
happened to be with the
thing.
girl in the polka dot dress the day before, or during that day, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, you start putting all this together, and it starts making a cogent picture. Okay, Sirhan Sirhan, he was probably a little bit out of the norm because he was an immigrant, and he probably had trouble fitting in. The troubled youth, exactly as we see in so many of these cases, and at some point he was picked up and was worked on until they had him on mind control. Now, if you want to, folks in the audience, if you really want to see this, how this works, simply go back and get the old black and white movie, The Manchurian Candidate, with Frank Sinatra is in it, okay? And you need to watch that movie because this is exactly the way it works. And you can see there, and that's why, like, for example, I recall that his mother testified at his trial that he would seem to be perfectly okay, but then he would get a telephone call. And he'd pick up the receiver and say hello, and then he wouldn't say anything, and he'd put the receiver down, and he'd leave the house for days, and she didn't know where he went or why or anything else. This is, again, another suggestion of mind control, and now we hear that he was with people, he was on the telephone, there was a telephoning involved, and so it all fits. It all fits, and don't think that the government, the CIA, and other alphabet agencies, that they don't have these capabilities, because they do.
Absolutely. It's flowing exactly where you and I have talked about at great length.
When you study all the evidence, this is what you get to, and what Jeannette and David have done is simply use another technology, another technique to find out the same things.
Yeah.
And that's a strong validation for reverse speech, that we are finding out the same information independently, you know. So,
right.
Yep. Now, the girl in the white polka dot dress, seeing you brought that up, let's play the three reversals that are looking at her. Now, where are these reversals from, Jeannette? Starting from the girl, they shoot him, someone knows a weapon. All
right, so the girl came from the CNN recording. Came from the conspiracy 10/11 RFK assassination.
Okay. I'm trying to find, where is it? Oh, here it is. Got it. Okay. So here's the forwards.
Sirhan was never in a position where he could shoot Senator Kennedy from behind.
So this isn't Sirhan, and it's simply the girl.
The girl. The girl. The girl.
And then that's just a reference to a girl. And then we have this reversal here. This is Sirhan.
It allowed me to shed all the old Sirhan.
Here he says, they shoot him.
They shoot him. They shoot him.
Wow.
There you go. There's the they again.
There it is. Yeah, they.
Yeah.
That's how he would refer to the machine that was behind this they. He's a simple man. At this point, and our friend's name, of course, is Fernando Fara, who wrote the book,
of course. Yes.
The Polka Dot File on the Robert F. Kennedy killing. That would be a great book for you, Jeannette, and David to read. The author's name is Fernando Fara, F-A-U-R-A, the Polka Dot File on the Robert F. Kennedy killing. He was just fascinated with it, and he was deeply involved with the investigation of it. Had some dynamite stuff, which was overlooked, as they say. Now, so
Jeff,
far, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm looking at an Associated Press article from April the 28th of 2011, and Sirhan Sirhan was again before the Board of Parole, seeking parole, because through his lawyers he said that his bullets did not kill the presidential candidate, and then here's what's interesting, because what he actually said at this hearing was that he was manipulated by a girl in a polka dot dress, and that a second person shot and killed Kennedy while using Sirhan as a diversion. So this is coming from Sirhan Sirhan himself. Now, what he says today is he can remember the circumstances before and after the shooting, but he claims cannot remember the shooting. And if he has a hypnotic block, then that would explain that.
That's a hell of a block, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if that block has been reinforced over the decades since then. That's pretty easy to do.
Something tells me it was reinforced at the Los Angeles police station that very night.
That's right, yeah. Well, Fernando's book, and let me make this clear again, Fernando Fara deserves a tremendous nod here for his book and his research. Fernando, if you're listening, we are just in awe of the work you've done with that, and the two programs we did with you, extraordinary, and thank you very much. So, and I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as we can enjoy anything like this, but because it validates all of it. It's all fitting together once again through the incredible technology of reverse speech. Just amazing. David, go ahead.
Okay, so after they shoot him, this is the next one.
That there was a history to it that dated back to 1947 or 1948, when the state of Israel was created forcibly on the Arabs.
Here he says, someone knows a weapon. Yep. There it is.
It's all there,
So
David.
someone,
Perfect.
Not his gun, someone else's gun. Someone else has got the weapon. Someone else knows.
Someone knows the way. That's right. That's fascinating. He didn't. I wonder. I don't think he knew until after the shooting that there was another shooter. I don't think they brought him into that.
No, I don't think so
I
either.
think you're right.
That's something he realized later, probably working with the prison psychologist, and he realized that he had some blocks. He couldn't remember exactly what was going on. But then he probably also, he apparently is not just this totally stupid person, so he probably read what he could, and he probably figured out that he was there. His finger was pulling the trigger, but he didn't shoot Kennedy.
He was actually much more of an active participant than Lee Harvey Oswald was.
Exactly. Well, see, they learned their lesson with Oswald. They said he did it from a sixth floor window of a building, back in there, and they really had no one except poor old Howard Brennan, who then contradicted himself. So they didn't really have anybody who could actually put Oswald in that window firing that rifle. So they learned their lesson. This time they had to make it really, really obvious who did it. So they had brainwashed Sirhan walk in and start pulling the trigger.
Wow.
Jeez. Unbelievable.
It is.
Okay,
Well, and now remember, that's 1968. That's 50 years ago. Imagine where they are now with their ability to brainwash, mind control anybody they want. 50 years. It's scary, Jim.
Well, of course it is. If they were this sophisticated back then, you can imagine what they can do now.
They could probably program you to shoot me.
I forget who it is, but somebody's cataloged now, over 150 suspicious deaths in the wake of the Clinton political campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll never know. It's always plausible deniable, but when you stack it all up, Vince Foster, Ron Brown, you keep going, and all the girlfriends of Bill's, the odds of them all just dying off,
I honestly do believe they can make almost anyone do almost anything now against their will. They can implant false memories. They can turn people against others by doing that. Let's just say that somebody has a really good buddy or a woman has a real good girlfriend, and they want to turn that two people against each other. They'll take the one and they'll implant with their advanced technology. They may not even have to physically be there to do it, just voice-to-skull technology. And they'll implant a memory that woman did something terrible to the other woman, and they'll hate each other. And they'll never know. They'll never know.
Well, also consider this. Just 3 months previously, prior to the Robert Kennedy assassination in June '68 and April '68, Martin Luther King was assassinated in Memphis.
Yeah.
And this one, was kind of like the Kennedy assassination. They had somebody from a distance fire a rifle, kill King, and then they tried to put the blame on James Earl Ray, which, by the way, for those listening, we're not here to talk about Martin Luther King, but just let me point out that the government investigations were superficial, basically a cover-up, just like John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy. But later there was a civil trial filed by King's relatives, and in that trial, the jury unanimously said there was a conspiracy to kill Martin Luther King, and that it centered at the high levels of the federal government. Okay? So now we got a glimpse of what's really going on. But so see, in April of '68, to kill Martin Luther King with a rifle shot far away, and again, they got away with it. Okay, so now are they fearful of maybe stopping Robert Kennedy before he can get the powers of the White House and come after him? No, they're not worried about it. They got a brainwashed assassin, and they got they got it all planned out. So they're just that arrogant. And they're still working.
Yeah.
They're still working at it, but they're getting more and more sophisticated.
Oh, they're way 50 years down the road from where they were then. Jeez, scary.
Yeah, we have the names of some people behind all of this too, which we'll get to as the
All
show
right,
goes
great.
on.
All right, let's go.
We want to commend Jeannette. Wonderful job, Jeannette, on this. This highly informative, scholarly, remarkable.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes, Jeannette, let me add that, I have a book published on the beginnings of the military remote viewing program, and I've done some remote viewing myself. I've been associated with most of the well-known remote viewers, and I want to tell you, I commend you. You did an excellent, excellent job.
Thank you very much. It was a combined effort. I popped it together, I suppose, is how I would look at it.
Right.
Well, you're commended, indeed.
My motto is none of us is as smart as all of us.
Hey, I
Absolutely.
like that. Now, that could be the title of your biography.
That's right. Hey, that's not bad, actually.
That's good.
That's true. I don't claim very often to have discovered things on my own, but all I do is report on what everybody else finds, but then I correlate them, put them together.
Yes, sir, you do. All right, David, go ahead.
All right, okay, so let's look at how Sirhan feels about all of this. Here's the forwards.
That's really what led me to the ambassador, the big party that was going to be, held down there. And
he's talking about the night of the murder. And he says, it's a sad man they condemn.
It's a sad man.
Yep. And,
Is he talking? He's talking about himself, isn't he?
Oh yeah. He's talking about
It's a
himself.
sad man. He feels. I think that this guy, as much as he can, is telling the truth. He knows his life has been sacrificed and to serve the dark side, as it were. He seems like a reasonable man who has served his time. And Jim Mars, I'm frankly amazed he's still alive. They didn't kill him in jail.
Well, he's easy to dismiss, as most of the population has, because once you control the mass media and you tell a great big lie, then it's really tough to overcome that, because the average person just has not got the time or the energy or even the inclination to actually study the case like you and I and David and Jeanette and others have. And so they just, at best, they get confused and go, well, gee, I don't know. And if you're in a confused state, you don't know, then you're not going to do anything about anything.
I also remember that this case was followed not long after with another graphic, terrible murder on the conscience of America, Martin Luther King. So, murder after murder.
Well, that's what we have to be. Let me throw in my 2 cents here. We have to be on guard about this right now, because, as you said, the next 2 months, or a month and a half, I guess, is going to be very, very dangerous. And I can't help but think that there's going to be some eye-popping headlines and news bulletins. Coming from anywhere and anywhere. In fact, the thing that you'd probably least suspect is probably where it'll come from. So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
And don't fall for the official lies again.
Again, I do believe they that you hear Sirhan talking about are the same basic they who will do anything to keep from losing their control and their power and their establishment position. They don't want to give it up. Anything from World War III, a regional war, to lighting off 1 or 2 suitcase nukes in American cities and blaming it on Iran, evil Iran. Anything's possible. To murdering Donald Trump, taking a plane down. Who knows? It's all on the table now. And as Jim said, the next month and a half, I've been saying it for days, are extremely dangerous times. Please don't rush to judgment on anything. Wait and watch.
After they got away with the killing of John F. Kennedy, they got pretty arrogant. And that's why they just didn't think twice about setting up Martin Luther King. And then they set up an extremely sophisticated hit on Robert Kennedy using a brainwashed assassin as a fall guy. And they've done plenty of other things since then.
Like 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. But in all those instances, they planned well ahead. It was well thought out. They were coolly and arrogantly doing what they felt like they had to do. Right now, I think there is a movement to try to stop Trump any way they can, and I think they're getting desperate. And just like a cornered animal, they're gonna be vicious.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. All right, we'll talk more about that in the days and weeks to come.
Yeah.
Next Monday is the first big one.
I want to hear what David says about the people behind it.
Yeah, let's go, David.
Well, I've got two names. We've got two names. The first one you won't be the least bit surprised about. So here's this first reversal, give up, I won't say the name yet, was Jeanette, was this by the Los Angeles Police Department, this recording?
No, I think Give Up came from, it was either from the CNN recording or the conspiracy one.
Okay.
There's only two people. It was only you and Debbie brought up this particular name in any of the recordings that we had.
Okay, all right, so let's run it forward.
The police department, which was investigating the murder, assured the public that this time there would be no lingering doubts about the perpetrator of the crime.
Okay, all right, so it's a commentator. Reversal is give up the bush.
Give up the bush.
Give up the bush.
Hey?
Give up the bush. Give up the bush. And then we have this one here.
They would not permit any questions to remain unanswered about the man accused of shooting a Kennedy.
See, I think we're tapping into collective unconscious knowledge here. This is the reporter. This one says, is Bush with disease in arm with Bob? Wow, it's a quick one. That's the tough one.
Tell us what he says again, David. What?
Yeah, it's a bit tough. I don't like the word disease. Is Bush with disease in arm with Bob? But I can only hear is Bush with disease clearly. Yeah. The disease is not good. Yeah.
It almost like it sounds like he's saying behind the bob, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't think.
All right, well, we got Bush loud and clear there, so yeah.
We got Bush loud and clear, and let's look at a couple more Bushes. Now, Bush has come up over and over and over again, and he featured heavily in the JFK assassination.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And here we have him again in RFK.
The second discovery was the presence of two double shot instances, and that is.
And this is Asshole by Bush.
Asshole by Bush.
Asshole by Bush.
Okay. And here he's talking about matching the bullets that killed Kennedy to Sirhan's gun. And where is it? Here we go.
The question of whether Sirhan fired the fatal shot should, it would seem, be easily resolved by matching the bullet that killed Kennedy to Sirhan's gun.
Okay, yeah, look, this is the commentator picking up collective unconscious knowledge. He says, me slip it, Bush.
Me slip it, Bush.
Okay, that's clear.
Me slip it, Bush.
Very clear.
Me slip it, Bush.
In other words, the bullets were slipped, okay? They were given matching bullets, is how I was...
You know what he said? You missed the word...
Bush was behind it.
You missed the word to in there, I think. And hear it again.
Oh.
He said to Bush.
Slip it to Bush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
oh, yes.
Yes,
very quick.
Yes,
yeah, very quick, too. You're absolutely right. Yep, there we go. All right, so there we have Bush.
Jim Mars, Jim, let me ask Jim, have you come across anything, Jim, that would tie Bush, or did he keep himself completely out of the spotlight this time?
Well, keep in mind, this all happened in the 60s. This was in 68, okay?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 75 when all of a sudden our unelected president, Gerald Ford, reaches down to Texas, finds an oil man, and puts him as director of the CIA.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, but hey, it goes deeper than that, as you well know, because Bush's grandfather, Prescott Bush, who was a powerful senator from Connecticut, helped create and form the CIA. Okay. I also know that I'm still in touch with a CIA Black Ops pilot who flew arms and ammunition for the Bay of Pigs invasion, which was a CIA-mounted operation against Castro, and said that they used Bush's Zapata drilling company as a cover for the arms going to the Bay of Pigs invaders. In fact, the whole Bay of Pigs thing was codename Operation Zapata. Okay, and the two ships that were damaged in the invasion that took the invaders to the Bay of Pigs were the Barbara and the Houston. All right, so, and there is a document that shows that the day after the John F. Kennedy assassination in 1963, that a George Bush of the CIA was questioned and gave information about what the reception was in the anti-Castro CIA-backed Cuban community. So you can see that Bush has had his hand in it, or the Bushes, starting with grandfather, since the inception of the CIA.
Yeah. Well, he may well have been involved with this too.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, you'd kind of expect it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, if he was as involved with the Kennedy assassination as we now believe, and as the reverse
he's the wet ops guy.
Yeah, then he's got to be top of the list to want to stop Bobby Kennedy from getting the presidency and mounting a truthful investigation.
Very good.
Okay, all right. Let's look at another name, shall we? And,
sir.
This name sent me to the internet. Searching. I Googled this one. Where is it? Here we go.
As to preclude the possibility of having come from a single weapon. There are two such instances of those double shots.
And this reversal is, does Schuster have power?
Das Schuster have power. Das Schuster have power.
And again.
Das Schuster have power.
Well, there's a Congressman Schuster right now in power, and his father was in power in the 60s. And he was a Bud Schuster, I think it was. I Googled it. Bud Schuster, who was in power. He's a Republican, high-level Republican in power, and his son is in power now.
Is Schuster, is that the name you're saying?
Yes, Schuster, yes. Schuster is how it's spelled.
So he's a congressman now, you think?
Let me go and Google it again. Hang on. I'll go and Google it one more time. I should have written it down. Schuster. He is right now. He is Congressman Bill Schuster. He's 55, and he is a representative. Of the 9th District. His father was Bud Schuster, who was a congressman.
I think Bud Schuster is you'd be talking about.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Yeah, Bud Schuster was a congressman who was in power in the 60s, and Bill Schuster is his son, who's currently a representative.
Very good.
I don't know. I don't know anything about him. But he comes up in the reversals. So what do you know about him, Jim?
Well, not much, except that he was a representative from Pennsylvania in the House from 1973 to 2001. So actually that puts him a little bit past the Kennedy assassination. But let's see here. Oh, okay. Let's see. All right. In his book, Schuster states that he was the class president of the University of Pittsburgh and was recruited by the local CIA office on campus, and that this was his actual first employment. And that he describes his role as infiltrating civil rights groups similar to the COINTEL program of the FBI. Wow. Does that put him right into the nexus?
That hooks him right into it there with Bush. Wow. Who found this reversal, Jeanette? Deb found this one, didn't she?
This was Deb, yep.
Oh, wow. Well, I have to tell Deb she found a real good one. Deb Fitzgerald, who is another reverse speech practitioner, very, very talented. I've got some great people in class, Jeff. We're going to have to give them some interview spots on your show at some stage.
We'll do something, yeah. This is great.
Yeah.
That's remarkable stuff. Yeah.
That puts it right in, doesn't it? Wow, that puts you to CIA, of course, CIA. And we also have another party in this. So let's look at the next party.
Oh, can we hold on, David, right there? We got to take a break here at the top of the hour. This has been, really revelatory. It's quite an exposition, and it reveals much as we expected. Jim Mars, a quick comment?
Hey, man, it's just all coming together. There's nothing much I can add. They pretty well got it down.
It's just like JFK.
And we've got some names we've got right up to the upper levels of the CIA and hence the government. I'll tell you what, if there's ever an agency that needs to be disbanded, it's the CIA. They have given America more black eyes and have caused more trouble than probably any other agency you can name.
And now it is run by a man who is alleged, and he is not denying it, to have converted to Islam when he was the CIA station chief in Saudi Arabia, and he is a Wahhabi Islamist, and they are a very radical group that is several hundred years behind the modern times. They believe in cutting off heads and hands and so forth. It's a weird thing. You got a Muslim president who appointed a Muslim CIA director, Jim, and there's the genesis of what's going on. This is an attempted Muslim overthrow of America, a coup d'etat through the Electoral College with this alleged CIA briefing of Russian interference that never happened.
That's right.
Hang on. We'll come right back with Hour 2 in just a few minutes. Special tonight on the murder of Robert F. Kennedy in 1968. David John Oates is here, and his one of his star pupils, Jeannette Teagle, is standing by, and of course Jim Mars. And we've learned a lot in the first hour, many insights into this, everything falling into line exactly as we would expect, those of us who have researched this. And it's just amazing to get the validation once again from the world's most remarkable technology of human experience and human discovery, and that is reverse speech. Jim, anything you want to say before we start in on Hour 2?
No, but it's other than the fact that we are now seeing the dirty underside of the American political machine that's gone on ever since the coup of 1963.
Yes, sir. Dan Rather and company. Yeah. Hold on a minute, and we'll get going here, folks. If you just joined us, pull up a chair and sit down. We'll go back to David John Oates right now. David, lead the way, and let's move ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I should point out that when I did the reversals on Sirhan Sirhan, and I never put two and two together and came up with mind control. It was actually Jeannette who came up with the mind control by putting all the clues together.
Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah.
Hypnotic suggestions, and when I saw her transcript, I thought, oh, right, that makes total sense. So, anyway, now during the break, I pulled up a couple of my reversals, didn't make it to Jeanette's report. Here is LBJ talking about the death of Robert Kennedy.
Robert Kennedy affirmed this country, affirmed the essential decency of its people.
Oh.
Here it says, see it, Bush.
See it, Bush. See it, Bush.
There you go.
See it, Bush.
There's Bush again.
Jim, okay. This is these are not coincidences. He's the wet ops king.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, Jeff, who was the columnist, the old lady?
Dorothy Kilgallen.
No. She was the one that was always at the press conferences and raising her hand and in Washington. I've got a block. I know her as well as I know my name. Anyway, she wrote a column, and in there she had interviewed George
Helen Thomas.
Bush. Huh?
Helen Thomas.
Ellen Thomas, thank you.
Helen,
yes. I thought I said Helen. She wrote a column, and she had interviewed George Herbert Walker Bush, and according to her, he told her, he said, if the American people ever find out what we've done to them, they will chase us down the street and hang us from a lamppost.
That's where that quote came from. Yeah.
Yes.
A quote echoed by Hillary Clinton, by the way, who said, if Trump gets in the White House, we're all going to the gallows.
Yes. Said the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So they know. They're very live, not just their fortunes in the Clinton Foundation and the Bush Clinton Fund, but their whole reputations their very lives depend on keeping all this hidden. That's
why I continue to say they're not going to give it up without taking us all down with them.
They'll fight to the very death. Another thing that may explain a lot is one thing I never quite could understood, because I've always been committed to the truth as a journalist way back in the 50s and 60s, and I never could quite understand why so many powerful, prominent people in America have not blown the whistle on all this. Why have they gone along with it? And I think the answer is because if the truth actually came out, it would break the dam, the waters would flow out. We'd know about JFK, RFK, MLK. Yeah. We'd know about, Vietnam. We'd know about weapons of mass destruction, 9/11.
We know it all.
And it would tear apart this country. It really would. I mean, there'd be a revolution. And there may be one anyway.
And maybe one coming real quick. We'll see. I think you're damn right. When Donald Trump put his life on the line and told the globalists, we're not going to go in their direction, we're going in the American direction. Right. I was amazed. That was one of the bravest things I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a big family.
He said it just days before the election in Florida. He said, my campaign is an existential threat to the establishment. And he's right. And the establishment is not going to go quietly into the night.
They won't. And I've been saying this for damn near 20 years, Jim, on this program. They won't do it. They're not going to give it up. And this Electoral College is one of 4 or 5 major plays that they've got ready to make. I'm telling you. So hold on, and we'll get through it one way or the other. And we can always rely on David and Jim Mars to bring you, and hopefully yours truly. I'll be around to do the same. We do our best to keep you informed. All right, David, go right ahead.
Okay, so here are the next players in the assassination of Robert Kennedy. Yes, Jim?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Okay, it was not Helen. It was Sarah. Wait a minute.
Oh, yes. Let me look it up. I'll look it up. God, it's funny. It's too much information.
Sarah McClendon.
Sarah McClendon.
Yeah, and the thing is, she was an irascible journalist there in Washington, and the deal is, she knew Bush personally. They had been friends in Texas, and in 1992, she asked him about. What would happen if everybody found out She said, what will people do if they ever find out the truth about Iraq-gate and Iran-Contra? And he said, Sarah, they'll chase us down the street and hang us from a lamppost. But, of course, I'm sure in his mind he was thinking back over all of the stuff he had been involved in.
Yeah, well, those two women, Helen Thomas and Sarah McClendon, were real journalists. They go way back.
They were real journalists.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Dave. Go ahead, David.
That's okay. Next character in the assassination, same organization that appeared in the JFK assassination too. So here's the forward.
Deliberate intent to send those 50 jet bombers to Israel to obviously do harm to them.
Okay, so this is Sirhan Sirhan, okay? And he says, see mob.
See mob.
See mob. He's got the word "the" is in the middle of it, but it's just a whisper of it.
Oh, is it? Hang on, let's listen again. Oh, very faint.
Oh. Very faint. I think it's there. He started to say it and then he glossed over it.
Your ears amaze me, Jeff.
Well, Jeff's had all those years in radio. He's got a fine-tuned ear.
Yes, I know. A lot of people comment to me. They say, "Oh, you should go and get Jeff to listen to that." And I think, "Oh, hang on, I'm the reverse speech expert here. Excuse me."
That's funny.
Yeah, a few people have said that to me, and I go,
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, David's very kind to put up with me butting in, but I do hear things. I don't know why. I just do.
All right, so here's a second reference to mob.
Do it by getting the right person to restrict the thing up.
Oh, hang on, let me get that volume. Let me just up that volume. That's shocking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Do it by getting the right person to restrict the thing up. Then he's going to take it in his own hands. I can't see any other way to go.
The long series of coincidences in which armed guard Thane Eugene Caesar was involved was never made public, much less explained.
So this is an armed guard, and it says the serious mob.
The serious mob. The serious mob.
Yep.
The serious mob.
So there you have it twice. 2 references to the mob, which also came up in the JFK assassination too.
Jim Mars, let's see where this Thane thing goes. Let's just leave that sit for now.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Thane Caesar killed Robert Kennedy.
That's right.
And if he's still around, he's still alive, he wants to sue me for libel, I wish he would. We'll get this into court and maybe we'll find out the deal. But he was the one who was standing behind Kennedy. He was a security guy with a kind of dubious background. He did admit pulling his gun. Okay, and in fact, the famous picture of Robert Kennedy lying on the floor with a clip-on tie lying next to his hand. And then there are pictures of Thane Caesar earlier in the day when he had his tie on, and then after the shooting when he did not have his tie on. So I'm pretty convinced that Thane Caesar shot Kennedy while Sirhan Sirhan was firing wildly from 6 feet in front of him, and Roosevelt, Greer, and these others are jumping on him. Thane Caesar whips out and puts a shot into Robert Kennedy's right mastoid, killing him. And then I think Kennedy may or may not have realized where the shot came from, but I think he turned and grabbed on, trying to, keep from falling, grabbed onto his tie and pulled it off, and that's why it was lying near his hand on the floor.
Yeah. Well, that's, we just got, go ahead, Jim, sorry.
No, all I wanted to point out was, for anybody who thinks the mob, what's the mob got to do with it? Let's not forget the church committee, where that was way back in the 70s, where they actually showed that the mob, the mafia, and the CIA were working hand in gloves. The same people. Okay, they were sharing operatives, and they were sharing responsibility in various operations. Okay. Including assassination. It was the CIA that recruited the mob to try to assassinate Castro, right?
Yep, many times apparently.
And if they go kill one head of state, what's to stop them from killing someone who's simply going to be a candidate for head of state?
Indeed. So that last reversal mentioned Thane Caesar. How did that work? David?
I thought the reverse was on the guard, but it wasn't. It was on the commentator. So once again, it's collective unconscious.
All right.
I don't think he's ever been recorded.
No.
No, but it's the same. I guess what I'm trying to point out, it's the same characters in this assassination as it was in the in the JFK assassination.
Yes.
And there's even a hint of the Jews being involved. Just a hint, one reversal, and we only got one reversal about Israel being involved in JFK as well.
Okay, Jeanette wants to say something. Jeanette, go ahead.
Jim, just in conjunction with what you're saying about Caesar, we questioned why he was never made to testify. He indicated he didn't want to testify, and he didn't want to be put on the stand. And so the eyewitnesses also couldn't say whether he had pulled his gun. So there's something very dodgy in there.
You got it.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, David.
Okay, so here's a cryptic reference to Israel being involved.
And having nothing to do that day, since the racetrack was closed, I decided to go to the firing range and shoot my gun.
Okay, this is before the assassination. He says, that Jew is so sad.
That Jew is sad.
That Jew is sad.
And again.
That Jew is sad.
So I don't know, just a cryptic reference, and we got a cryptic reference in the JFK assassination as well to Israel. So it's just the same characters: Bush, the mob, and
yeah.
I mean, sure, a whole lot of the characters we don't know about.
And the Mossad, and then you've got 9/11, and you got all kinds of things.
Yeah, I know. And here's another name that I just saw. I don't know who this is, but this is on Sirhan.
And we have known what the 50 Phantom jets were designed for and what we're going to do.
This one says, Michael fed the bloody... fifth. Michael fled the bloody fifth. I thought it said filth. Sorry.
North Station McNaffy fifth.
Yeah, huh.
North Station McNaffy fifth.
I don't know what that would mean.
North Station McNaffy.
I have no idea.
Fifth hypnotic session, Michael, the hypnotherapist. I don't know.
It's interesting because it's obvious from the little bits I've heard that Sirhan Sirhan was a racetrack junkie. He loved the horses.
Yes, he talked about it a couple of times in
yes.
his interviews. Yeah.
No, he was into the tracks. He said, I didn't go to the track, didn't he? Something like that. All right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to jog my memory, but there was a guy named Jerry something another who had a horse trailer and had gone to the Ambassador Hotel that night. He was known as the Walking Bible because he had studied the Bible so much he could quote verses out of it. And he said he was supposed to meet Sirhan Sirhan there to sell him a horse or something like that. And in fact, they used that early on briefly because they wanted to show
You're right. I remember this a little bit.
Sirhan told this guy he was going to be coming into money, and they brought that out briefly because they wanted to show that he was going to get paid for what he was doing, of course.
I remember the horse link.
But I wish I could remember the guy's name because there's a tie-in. He was somehow connected to the guy that shot George Wallace. I'll be trying to look that up, but it all ties together. This is all the same, the same powers that killed John F. Kennedy, killed Martin Luther King, they killed Robert Kennedy, and they've been marching along ever since, all the way up through 9/11.
All right, good point. I think you're
But
right
let me
on.
see if I can find that. I can't. I'm trying to remember his name.
All right. Okay, next up, David.
Okay, we neglected to play the intertherapy room reversal. We talked about it, but I don't think we ever played it. So there's a whole string here. So here we go.
Just the old Sirhan, and resolve to live a new Sirhan, a new rebirth, and then start out life with a new slate.
Here's in therapy room.
In the therapy room.
Yep.
In the therapy room.
Certainly there.
In the therapy room.
Wow.
Okay, that's I think that's where the hypnotic implants took place. And then here we have talking about it. Oh, that volume is really low on this. Let me just amplify. Okay, here we go.
It's your last chance, Sirhan. Reach for your gun. Where's your gun?
Oh, this isn't Sirhan. How do you feel? Oh, he's talking to Sirhan.
How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel?
Yeah, okay, that's... where'd you get a hypnotic suggestion out of that one, Jeannette? Just...
This is where he was in trance at the police station.
Ah, so the how you feel is a nice, reassuring hypnotic induction. Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's congruent to what he said in reverse.
Right.
I mean, what he said forward. Yeah.
Four. Yes, I knew that. Yeah. And here we have the last one on this string.
Pulling the trigger again and again and again. You'll remember all this. You'll remember all of it.
And remember it.
Remember it.
Oh, congruent reversal. Yeah, remember. Yeah, look, he's remembering that I think he genuinely believes that he killed him. And he feels remorse about it. He's upset. He doesn't like it. I mean, look at this reversal here.
Egregious about, being humane and merciful and carrying out the law as impartially as towards me as you would carry it out towards other, formerly.
And this reversal says, all the hurt, I wrecked him.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Oh, he's crying, too. You can hear the anguish in his voice. Let me play this again.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Oh.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Oh,
he's saying, all the hurt, I wrecked it. I wrecked it.
Yeah, I caused this. What did I do? All this. I think he's trying to come to grips with the magnitude of what he's done.
Well, and he says I wrecked it, meaning the whole thing. I wrecked it. Listen to the end.
Yeah. Sorry, say that again. I missed
Listen to the end. He says I wrecked it at the end.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, I wrecked it.
Ooh.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Nah.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Yeah, could go either way on that one.
What do you think he says?
Well, I think it's all the hurt I wrecked him. I'm hearing an H, not a T.
Okay.
I thought he said I wrecked it.
Yeah, sounds like it over here.
All right. Play it again.
Okay, I'll admit to being wrong.
Ends with a T.
I wrecked it.
Oh, yeah, I see.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Oh, I see. I see what's going on. It's not clipped properly. There's a little bit of gibberish on the end. That's what I'm hearing.
All hurt, I wrecked it.
Yep, there it is. Nice and clear.
If he said I wrecked it, then, that would mean he probably came to the realization that he had wrecked the country, wrecked
history.
System.
Yeah,
huge
thing.
History. Exactly.
It dawns on him.
If you guys are ready for this, I'm going to tell you how it all happened, okay? I've stumbled across some stuff here. Dr. Bernard Diamond was called in to hypnotize Sirhan Sirhan in his jail cell, and he noted that Sirhan achieved a deep trance almost instantaneously, suggesting that he had been hypnotized many times before. While under a trance, Sirhan was asked to climb the bars of his cell like a monkey. He dutifully obeyed. He was asked to recreate pages from his journey, and again, he dutifully obeyed, writing over and over and over, RFK must die, RFK must die, RFK must die.
There's your implanted...
And he remembered every detail of that evening, including talking to the woman in the polka dot dress, but could not be induced to actually remember the shooting. Now, it gets better. The guy I was trying to think of is Jerry Owen. He was known as the Walking Bible. And Sirhan disappeared for about 3 months in 1967. This was at a time when he was working with horses, and according to witnesses, was spending a lot of time with Jerry Owen. And this puts Sirhan in the position to have been intensely worked on by CIA confessed mind control expert named William Joseph Bryan. Okay, you can Wikipedia him. He was a American physician and a pioneering hypnotist, and one of the founders of the modern hypnotherapy. That his work was used in psychological warfare during the Cold War. Okay, and he was started his career as a military psychiatrist, and including Project Artichoke and its successor, MK Ultra. Okay, there you go. That's who programmed him.
Wow.
That's it. It's all in the reversal. They seal with your phoning. I'm forced to do it. The sad murder. They did it.
You could take all this to his next parole hearing and probably get him out.
Yeah, probably.
If they would put it together properly, I would think so.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious what happened.
It's damned obvious. We're going to go right through the break here. We got a lot of stuff to do here yet. So thank you, sponsors. This is really classic and important. And go ahead, David Oates.
Okay, so where do you suggest we move to next, Jeanette? What other...
At the top of the program, Thomas Noguchi was mentioned.
Yeah.
And he said that the fatal bullet was fired from no more than 3 inches away, which contradicts the witnesses who say that Sirhan was 2.5 feet away. And we've got a reversal here that says 3 foot.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Here we go. All right, here it is. Obviously, levels are down on this too. Just 1 second while I increase the levels. Okay, here we go.
How far would the gun muzzle be from Senator Kennedy's head?
About 1.5 feet, I would say 1.5 feet, 2 feet.
3 feet.
3 foot.
Oh,
3 foot.
3 foot.
3 foot.
Huh. And who's that talking, Jeanette?
That's coming out of the second gun reversal, a second gun recording. Let me just see if I can tell you who it was that wrote it.
But that would be Sirhan, who was 3 foot away, right?
That's saying that Sirhan. That's definitely saying that Sirhan was 3 foot away. Yes.
Right, and Robert Kennedy was was shot at close range.
That's right. So then we go further down, and Noguchi was actually fired from his role, from his position.
Yeah.
Because he said, no, it was, I think they were trying to cut, well, this is where I see a cover-up was going, was, he's saying it's only 3 inches and somebody's saying it was 3 foot. But he was eventually exonerated and reinstated. So, and it says, 3 bullets entered his body and 1 went through his suit coat at the right upper seam. And we have the reversal, they'll know, and that's coming from CNN.
Right, okay. All right, here's a reversal on Sirhan Sirhan denying that there was any conspiracy. Here we go.
There have been various conspiracy theories over the years, never gaining great weight, but can you convince me they're all not true?
No, I can't. But I will say this to you, that I was never part of any conspiracy.
When he says, I was never part of any conspiracy, he says, and you see this liar.
You see this liar.
Clear as day.
Well, his subconscious is overriding the implanted, forward-spoken lie.
Right.
Exactly right. That's exactly what's happening. This is not his conscious speaking. That's coming from his unconscious.
Yeah.
And his unconscious is saying here, this is not true. There was a conspiracy involved.
Yeah.
And it was set up by Bush and whoever else was behind all of these, what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say atrocities, but it's worse than that. Treasonous, murderous acts. I mean, yep, pretty bad. All right, so let's have a look at. Okay, so when you talk, we got the reversal. You took the fall, and then we've got some reversals after that says the people who must remain unidentified. What's this all about? Jeanette? He also acknowledges that he's taking the fall for someone else who to this day must remain unidentified. Who's that?
Well, we don't know who he was taking the fall for.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's the reversal. You took the fall. Let's play that again. Then we'll play these other ones.
The idea that it was done with the full requirements of the law for a first-degree murder, I don't think that it was.
And you took the fall.
You took the fall.
You took the fall.
And is he not saying? Is that his subconscious speaking to his conscious, saying you took the fall? Yeah. Is that what we're hearing?
You did. Yeah, okay. That's exactly what Conscious talking to the conscious. We see this a lot. We saw it a lot with Hillary Clinton during the campaign trail. If you remember those classic reversals.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we have another one on, I think this is Sirhan.
And I ended up at some storefront office announcing the...
And so this is before the shooting. He ended up in the storefront's office. And he says, no thoughts, must not.
No thoughts, must not.
He's fighting. His conscious thoughts have been suppressed. He's got no thoughts. He's under automatic control. And yet part of him is fighting. So I must not do this.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Must not.
And again.
No thoughts, must not.
And once more.
No thoughts, must not.
He's
no
wrestling.
thoughts. No, that's a gigantic struggle going on there.
Yeah.
No thoughts, must not. Wow, that's really poignant. That's remarkable.
Yeah, yeah. He's under definite control. There's absolutely no doubt about this. He was like a mindless robot.
Yeah, sure. Well, I hope, Fernando, you're listening and you're hearing things that validate so many things you told us too. Good.
All right, here's a bit of a bizarre one.
Yes, they're not the writings of me now.
This is Sirhan Sirhan, and he says, you know they're off this planet.
You know they're off the planet. You know they're off the planet.
Why do you find that funny, Jim?
Because it really does tie in. I know you're not into this, but if you'll read my book, Our Occulted History, you'll show that I trace the modern New World Order bunch, the people who are trying to control this planet, all the way back to the Anunnaki. Which were the gods in ancient Sumer, and when they wrote about them, they said they came from the heavens and they came to the earth, and
that's
now
very
today
funny.
we know at the top of the economic pyramid on this planet is probably the Rothschild banking dynasty, and they themselves claim to be the descendants of Nimrod, the ancient Sumerian god king who was part human, part non-human. Okay, so there is some reality to what he's talking about.
Very interesting. Yeah. No, that's a subconscious awareness of a very
tapping into the
very
universal
big
energy field.
Yes, a very big historical fact that way back in the beginning, it is said by all those involved that we were visited, and those people were the progenitors of what came to be the world globalist controllers.
Well, the reversal validates it. The reversal says exactly that. What's your thoughts on that one, Jeanette? That's a bit of a revelation, isn't it?
It's certainly it's out of left field to a certain extent for most people, isn't it?
That's
Yes, it is.
But if you do your research
this keeps the world leaders very much leveraged, okay? Because it's like when Trump met with Obama in the White House, and usually that's like a 20, 30-minute meeting. This was an hour and a half. When he came out, he looked like a deer caught in the headlights.
Yeah,
he had
looked
obviously
worse than
been
that.
told some stuff that blew his mind, and I think the extraterrestrials was one of them.
The fact that they're real and they're here and they're involved. Let's sum it up like that. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. See, that's a real pivotal reversal. Just play the reversal again, David.
That one's really plain.
That's important.
You know they're off this planet.
You know they're off the planet.
It's clear too.
You know they're off the planet.
Very clear.
You know they're off the planet.
That really fits, Jim. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, that takes the conspiracy theory way out there, doesn't it? Wow.
Yeah. And read Jim's book, Our Quilted History.
Come on, give it to him.
It's our occulted history.
That's right.
Yeah, my people are doing some work on the secret space program right now, so we should have those reversals.
Oh,
ready.
good. This will be fun. All right.
Well,
yeah.
By the way, just to add to the mix, let me mention about Dr. Louis Jolion West, also known as Jolly West, another CIA mind control expert who not only was relieved the Dallas jail doctor and began to treat Jack Ruby just before he developed galloping cancer and died, but then he also went to California and interviewed Sirhan Sirhan, and no telling what he did with him. So you got Owen, you got Brian, you got Jolly West, you got all these CIA mind control people all in contact.
They're all in there
with Sirhan Sirhan.
How funny! That's really great. Great. This is all coming together brilliantly as we expected it would. Wow. Go ahead,
and he
David.
Also, Dr. West also was the one who was brought in to work on Patty Hearst, and also he showed up in the Oklahoma City bombing for some reason. I mean, he's just got his little mind control footprints all over everything.
Yeah, very good. All right.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. The number of times I've played reversals on a radio show, I have no idea what they mean. Like, they're off this planet. I don't know what that means. And then you come back with some valid information. It's just incredible to me the way that happens over and over again, So,
we shouldn't forget about...
Well, David, you ought to know by now that reverse speech, brings out the subconscious thoughts. Your subconscious knows a whole lot more than your conscious mind knows.
Well, it's tapped into the big database.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's have a look at another one on Sirhan Sirhan. Here we go. Mr. Forwards.
When I began to focus on it, erupted as soon after the 1967 war, where the Arabs had lost and the Israelis won.
And this reversal says, where is it? You lose in the soul, that's why that hell. Wow. You lose in the soul, that's why that hell.
In the soul, that's right, with her.
Oh, you can hear the emotion. My God.
In the soul, that's right, with her.
And what's more?
The soul, that's right, with her.
This is a tormented man.
Yeah, he's suffering. He's suffering greatly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be. He's got to be. He's so conflicted. I mean, he knows what he knows. He knows what he thinks. He knows what he believes, and then he knows what he's read, and then he's got his subconscious working on him. No wonder he's so conflicted.
If he could hear this program, it would help him.
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow. And here's another one of the same line.
I agree, and I sincerely regret having done that in retrospect.
He says, I might be bad.
I might be bad.
You got that one?
Yeah, well, that's, he's conflicted. He doesn't know what to think. I might be bad. He's bad. He knows. But this man is fragmented, and I don't see him ever getting put back together completely unless he were to be able to hear this and spend time with Jim Mars and David Oates and hear these things and talk it out, real therapy. But they wouldn't want that, and they'd go right back in and put an egg beater in his head again. So.
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing is that officially the officials would say, no, we can't do this. This is conspiracy theory,
kook stuff.
Radical, kooky assumptions, so we're not going to let him out to go talk to anybody.
No.
That's why he keeps going for parole, and they keep turning him down.
No, they know he'd end up...
They don't want him out to where somebody can get hold of him. Same thing with Jack Ruby.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true. All right, we got about 15 minutes left, so let's keep moving.
Okay, Jeanette, what was your opinion of his mental state, Sirhan Sirhan?
I think he's a broken man, and listening to the three of you talking, I believe that he possibly won't ever be released because they're worried that
they won't.
A good therapist will actually be able to help him understand what went on.
Yeah.
And that would just devastate him.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Good observation.
Okay. All right. Let's play a couple on LBJ. Talking about the death. Here we got a few of him.
And this is a moment for all Americans to join hands and to walk united together through this dark night of common anguish.
Here he says, beyond God.
Beyond God.
Wow.
Beyond God. Beyond God.
Do these people think they're more powerful than God? I don't know. Strange reversal. And here he is again.
He knew far more than his share of personal tragedy. Yet he never abandoned his faith in America.
Here he says, the NAB event.
In the NAB event.
In the NAB event.
His faith in America.
Oh, what happened then? Hang on, I'll play it again.
In the NAB event.
In the NAB event.
What does that mean, David? I can't understand that.
Oh, he was nabbed. He was nabbed. It was a NAB event. He was ambushed. He was nabbed. You heard the slang nab? To catch? To
nabbed, sure, yeah. Got it.
Yeah. The NAB event. He was ambushed. It was a setup.
Got it.
The whole thing
All
was
right.
set up. He was nabbed. And
Unusual.
LBJ knew by this reversal. Yeah. Okay. And let's have a look at a couple on RFK. Here you go.
Report up in New York to the Senate for a vacancy we have for Negro on the Customs Court. It's been vacant for some time. One of Truman's appointees, I believe, retired.
Oh, no, this is not LBJ, sorry. That's not RFK, it's LBJ. I must forgive them.
I must have forgotten it.
Don't know what that means. All right. Here we have an interesting one. This is a crowd chanting for Bobby Kennedy. I think this is at the Ambassador Hotel. They say, "We want Bobby, we want Bobby." Backwards is, "We want Bobby in." You hear that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a nice congruent reversal. The only other congruent reversal in the crowd that we've seen has been Donald Trump, if you remember. So
yes, I do.
Some reverse.
So forwards and backwards is saying we want Bobby, and then in reverse is saying we want Bobby in. That's pretty damned interesting. Yeah.
There's another. Yeah, Donald Trump's the next Kennedy's, I reckon. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool one. Okay, all right. So let's look at some general reversals on Sirhan Sirhan. Here we go.
I got lost, I believe, because I wasn't familiar with the neighborhood over there, the roads, and it was getting dark.
Okay, he's talking about making his way to Ambassador Hotel. He got lost. Then he said, "Feel with the soul I got."
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, see, this is his soul. This is where his confusions are coming from, because down in his soul knows the truth. Okay, and he's getting messages from his soul that are confusing him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, okay. Here's another one. He's about being sad.
And to have him say that he was going to send 50 Phantom jets to Israel to deliver nothing but death and destruction on my countrymen. That seemed as story were a betrayal, sir.
He says, "You're sad, mister."
Will said means that.
Will said means that.
Yeah.
Will said means that.
You're pretty damn sad, mister, for sending 50 Phantom jets to Israel. He didn't know that we had no choice in the matter. We do what we're told. So.
Yeah, that's right. All right, here we have another one. This is a phrase that came up in the Kennedy assassination too. Let's run this.
I really feel that it was immediately after, while I was going to trial, because at the time of the shooting, I was not really in full control of my senses.
No kidding. And then he says, "Then rush the boys who allowed it."
And
again.
We
We had a phrase to the boys in the JFK assassination too. I can't remember what the context was now. But the boys who allowed it, the mob, the group, the cabal, rush the boys who allowed it, hold them responsible. Look at them. Look elsewhere. This is not his conscious speaking. This is his unconscious. Okay? And here we have another interesting one.
You know, as it was talking, and the keys were tapping, and I was reading messages on it. Obviously, I know now, and I knew immediately then that it was a teletype machine. But at the time that I was, looking at it, I didn't snap that it was a teletype machine.
He says, "Got the mission, I cracked."
The mission,
And again,
The
mission was to kill RFK, kill Bobby Kennedy, and the I crack. This is the cracks coming into the seams. This is his soul anguish. This is the sad man. This is the confusion that he's feeling inside.
Mm-hmm.
But he got his mission, and he fulfilled his mission. Okay, and this reversal almost adds a seal onto it.
The rule of law in California at the time, that really spared my life, and I'm very grateful for that.
This one says, Adolf fulfilled.
Adolf fulfilled.
Was there Nazi elements involved in the planning of this? I mean,
could that be at something? I don't know. Why would he say Adolf? That's weird.
I
don't get that one.
No, all right, forget it. We'll move on. I'm just pulling it out at random here. I've played all the main ones. So
Got it.
Just pulling some other ones out.
Although I will mention that if he's talking about Hitler, then it could be that his unconscious mind again is reaching into the universal energy field and realizes that the same forces, the same National Socialist, the acronym of which is Nazi, the same forces, including Bush's grandfather, who was one of the lead funders of the Nazis and Hitler. He may have realized that in the back of his mind, just like Jack Ruby from jail wrote and said, they're all Nazis. I think he either consciously or more likely unconsciously really kind of knew that's where it was coming from.
How interesting. You may well be right on that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I would have got from that. So, yeah, okay. All right. So, let's have a look. Here's another one. Let's run this one.
Being humane and merciful and carry out the law as impartially as towards me as you would carry it out towards other, formerly condemned men.
And this one says, I didn't kill them. All funny.
Didn't kill them all funny.
Oh, no, I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him all funny.
Didn't kill him all funny.
Yeah, there it is.
Didn't kill him all funny.
Yeah.
Kill him all funny.
Didn't kill him all funny.
Oh, well, there you go. How's that for a nice, concise reversal?
Well, you could even
all
cut
funny.
you could cut the all funny off, and you'd still have a perfect reversal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the all funny is his mind's in confusion. What's going on here? I don't understand what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sad. They're condemning me. Wow.
Everything's all funny.
Cracking.
Yeah.
He's cracking.
He's fragmented. There's no doubt. None.
Wow. It just all falls together, doesn't it, Jeff? It's
yes,
all here.
It does. It's remarkable. Truly remarkable. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Wow. Okay. And next, I'm just pulling them out at random here because I've finished the main reversals on Jeanette's. Right. So here we go.
In that, Robert Kennedy represented a tremendous threat to the Arabs by his support of the Arabs' enemies.
Has stealth?
Stealth.
Stealth.
Huh.
Stealth.
It could be stealth of the killers. I mean, that could be anything. That's difficult to know.
A lot of ways to read that, but it is stealth, no doubt.
All right, here we have another one.
That I had, extinguished, a great star, a world savior, perhaps, a champion of all mankind. And it's hard for me to live with this experience.
This one says, end that marked man.
Isn't that Nachman?
Isn't that Nachman?
Yeah.
Isn't that Nachman?
What does he say?
Yeah,
and that what, David?
Oh, I've got marked. Marked as in the target on your back. He's a marked man.
And that marked man.
You're not hearing that?
Isn't that Nachman?
There's an end, isn't there?
Isn't that Nachman?
I think he says, I think it's blurred, and what he says, I think, is and that nice man.
I'll do it again.
Isn't that Nachman?
No, there's a K there.
Isn't that Nachman?
Oh, I can hear the C.
Isn't that Nachman?
Anyway, all right. All right, look, we've got just a couple minutes left. Let's go over and just play again.
Yeah, play some of the highlights. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play some of the...
Jeannette, first of all, congratulations on all your hard work, and just really wonderful.
Thank you very much.
You were welcome.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, she's done a great job. I'm really proud of Jeannette. She's like I said, perfect on her last assignment wasn't due. I marked perfect.
She's going to be doing this for a long time, so you got a great one in the field there. All right, go ahead. Play some of the highlights here. We got a couple of minutes left.
Okay, here they seal with your phoning.
The newspaper stands were screaming out the headline, for.
They seal with your phoning.
You seal with your phoning.
You seal with your phoning. You seal with your phoning.
That's when the hypnotic command was put in, and here it says, "I'm forced to do it."
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you took your fall. Where's the? Oops, hang on, I've lost it. You took your fall. Where did it go?
He said, "I'm forced to do it," and that's too bad that isn't more clear, but you can hear it. It's all there.
And here's you took your fall.
You took your fall. You took your fall. You took your fall.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Then you have they did it.
They mean it.
They mean it. They mean it.
I mean, I don't know how much clearer you want these. I mean, these are.
No, he's just speaking truth to the whole story. That's coming right out.
And here we have in the therapy room.
In the therapy room.
In the therapy room.
The therapy room.
In the therapy room.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's all tied together, and just like you did with JFK, Reverse Speech has done it with Bobby Kennedy. It all fits. Final comment, Jeannette, from you?
I think it was an interesting assignment to do, and it just opens up more questions than provides us with answers, really.
Yeah, well, you get another A, so...
Thank you so much.
Welcome. All right, Mr. Mars?
Well, the word apocalypse comes from the Greek, and its original meaning was the revealing or the unveiling, okay? So we're in the apocalypse right now.
Boy,
it's all coming out.
Now, what
each individual listening tonight has to decide for themselves is whose side are they going to be on? The side of the New World Order or the side for a greater American?
That's absolutely brilliantly summed up and said, and those of you who haven't made your decision yet, it's time. We are in the most dangerous times right now of the entire campaign season. We're watching, and fingers crossed. Jim, thanks for being here as always. Another remarkable evening. Thank you.
Well, my thanks to you, and especially my thanks to David Oates and to Jeannette, who both, and the people they work with.
Yeah.
You guys are really doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, thanks, Jim. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Adios.
All right. Okay, Jim. Good night. David, thank you very much, and I look forward to you're doing some deep space things. Are you working on it with Bill Tompkins? Any of his interviews?
He's one of the names, yes.
Yeah, because he's said some remarkable things. Those would be, in and of themselves, I think, good subject matter. Just to take the last two visits, and wow, he's got quite a story. All right, thank you, David. Wonderful work, as always.
No worries, yeah. See you later, mate. Okay,
good night. Yeah. Okay, there's our program for you, our special 2 hours on the reverse speech revelations of the murder of Robert Kennedy. We know now what happened to the Kennedy brothers, and it's right there for you. If you want to listen any time at all, just go to the right-hand column and scroll down, and you'll find them. And we thank you for being here. Back tomorrow night, and God only knows what's going to happen between now and then. We'll keep you posted. Take care.